Hey, ladies, can you hear me?
Yes, I think you have to ask to turn on camera though.
Yeah, so remember, there's too many of y'all to have on at one time.
Oh, right. Okay. I don't have it on
Can
that
you
option though at all.
Somebody, I'm getting
test
feedback.
my video?
Say
Can
that
you
again.
test my video though? Can you test my
Yes.
video? Because I'm on my iPad and I don't know where the camera. I don't know if I have this right.
Okay, let me see. Suzanne, invite to video. Can you see that come through?
Yep. Okay. I just have to work on this a little.
Yeah, okay, because I was getting some feedback at first, but it's gone, so that's good. Lila, can you say something again?
Yep. Can you hear me?
Okay, hold on, guys. Hang on.
Okay.
Hey, V.
I think you sent me an accept. Can you hear me though?
I can hear you, but I don't see you on the thing yet.
Let me walk in the other room. There was an accept, but I accidentally.
I see her on the right, far right, just to the right.
Yeah, so I'm going to invite to speak. So I'm going to have to invite you again.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Bye. Okay, view participants. Hang on just a second. I'm going to have to do this again. Okay, V, if you can hear me, I just sent that to you again. So Sue, I'm going to take down your video and well, that was weird. Okay, so now I'm going to, for Suzanne, let's turn off video. Okay, awesome. So I think I've got everybody. Jenny, I think I saw you there. Did you get the invite? Yes.
No,
Well, you're on the stage, so that's good.
Yeah. Could you turn producer on for me?
Oh, yes.
Thank you.
Make producer. Okay. Everybody, this is Jenny. Jenny, this is everybody.
Hey, y'all.
Hi, Jenny.
She's
What's the little monkey by Tisa, Angela's, and Suzanne's?
That's mute. When you.
Oh, it becomes a monkey. Okay, I got it.
Which is very interesting. I don't know why they do that, but that's the way it comes up. And so we are on. Let me see if I can see view participants. Let's see if there's anyone else on right now. There's one person, one active listener, but we still have about 4 minutes before we get started. And did y'all see the video that I posted?
No.
It was like 30 seconds, a little reel.
No, I haven't seen a video.
Is that on Facebook?
I posted it on Facebook and I posted it on Instagram. Sue, I know you're doing doing a detox, which is good. But I pulled some of our pictures and stuff.
Oh, cool.
I'll have to. I can go on and look at that. That's perfect.
Yeah. Yeah. So, we'll let me put this Oh, you can also, if you want to do that now, you can broadcast. I'm going to edit the cookie right now. Feel free to broadcast to the world. Okay. Oops. Well, I guess it would help if I spelled broadcast right. Save. Okay. I'm going to mute. Okay. Yeah, something was tickling. Like, so we're going to get started in about 3 minutes. Welcome, Justin. Thank you so much for tuning in. And Woody, and I see El Ray, and I see Stephanie. We've got about 2 minutes, and then we'll get started. Just wanted to make sure I was able to get the guests on and get everybody on stage and make sure everybody's audio was working. And we will get started here. Make sure everybody knows how to use the platform, who we are, what we're doing, why we're doing it, all that good stuff. So glad to be here for the Rutledge Perspective live conversations for the second week in a row during Women's History Month. And last week, International Day of the Woman. So that was really exciting. Or Tuesday, I think it was, International Day of the Woman, International Women's Day. So that was really exciting. And you guys are going to meet these amazing women, my Fierce Five. If you have not, feel free to follow me on social. So Facebook, The Rutledge Perspective, Instagram, The Rutledge Perspective, or laurel.k.rutledge, and LinkedIn, Laurel K. Rutledge as well. And I posted a reel today where you'll see some of our other little pictures from Jamaica, Montego Bay, calling us back. We are going to be there 2023 again. If all goes well. Lord says the same. We will be back in 2023. So you'll get to see a little bit more. And tonight we're going to talk about that trip and what it means and how these women became my Fierce Five and how it's gotten deeper over time. So we'll talk about that tonight. But in the meantime, just want to thank all of you guys for being here. And as I launch this new show on Fireside, which is a really cool app. So I'm really excited to be here. Okay, we're actually right at 7 o'clock. So I will open it up and believe that we're going to have to, because I know there's some other people who were wanting to come. And I am simulcasting to YouTube as well. So that's great. So we know that's working. Yes, and definitely check out the podcast, which is awesome. So I want to first welcome everyone to this week's live conversations, the Rutledge Perspective live conversations. It is week 2 of Women's History Month, and you're going to meet the Fierce Five that are in my village, and I call it a village on purpose. My name is Laurel Rutledge, and I am your empowered action activist and navigation coach. Just thought about that today because I am published with the word navigator. And I am here to really help you figure out what it is, get aligned, get clear on your vision, and then move into empowered action. And these women are indicative of my village, that group of people around you who really are your support, your foundation, all of those things that get you to where you want to be. And at the same time, let you be who you are, which is fantastic. So a few little things on Fireside. So for those of you who have not been on the app before, that it's new, then you will see the little circle at the bottom of your screen that's on the bottom left. A lot of people call that looks like a little hamburger. In that little circle, you will see the ability to ask to get onto the stage and other things that you can do. You can also broadcast to the world. So feel free to send this out to everyone that you know, that we are now live on the Rutledge Perspective Live Conversations. Also, on the bottom right of your screen, you'll see the little react little button with the heart eyes emoji. If you want to, and we would love for you to be engaged and ask questions in a conversation, what you do is you hit the react button. You have to select an emoji. And when you do, one, we get the emoji with the sound effects, but also where it says pick a reaction, that turns into add a message. And when you do that, and I'll do that right now so you can see, and I'm just going to put test in there. what happens is little bubbles pop up. So we know that you have a comment for us. And so we can go in and see that and be ready to respond. So glad to have you here. Hi, Jen. I see you there too. So glad to have you here. And so I am going to introduce you really quickly to these amazing ladies. And I want to say first, I want to shout out to the world. So many people watching, following. We are getting more and more people on the Rutledge Perspective radio show and the podcast from all over the world. Jamaica, Finland, Australia. We even have Kuala Lumpur that showed up, and places that I've never even heard of. The UK is there, Belgium. So thank you. Global shout out to all of you who are making the choice to spend your time with me, because I know we all have a choice and we're all very busy. So thank you for doing that. Okay, these amazing women, we're going to have a conversation for about 30 minutes, and then I want you guys to ask questions. So we're going to start with Suzanne Anderson. You see her beautiful face there too. She is an experienced senior talent professional, and I'm giving you a short bio so you can get the podcast and see their full show notes. She's an experienced senior talent professional with broad competencies developed while supporting multiple businesses, service lines, and geographies in professional services and consulting organizations. She's been in the talent organization at EY for almost 20 years and is currently the strategic talent consultant for the National Tax Infrastructure Business Unit. Her passion, though, and Suzanne's got a lot of passions, but she is an incredible organizer, an incredible planner, and her passion is revitalizing playgrounds. And you guys got to go follow her, because these pictures she had were amazing. Revitalizing playgrounds, parks, and green spaces in urban core neighborhoods, supporting kids and families in need, and feeding programs. And the work she's doing is incredible. Next is Valerie Tisa Hawkins. Now, you saw her last week too. We have been together literally since our mothers were pregnant. So we got a picture of ourselves in a bassinet together. She was born in Odessa, Texas with me, and attended Permian High School, where she was the first Black female president of a senior class ever at Permian High School. She has had the opportunity to return to her deepest heart's desire, which is special education, as a special education supervisor for Ector County Independent School District. She has also been a member of the Junior League of Odessa, and in 2007-2008, she led that organization as the first and only Black president. She is also a member and a soror fine in Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, and has held several leaderships there in a local chapter, including president. Tisa, welcome. Next, we have Angela Landrum. We also went to school together. So Angela and Tisa and I went to school together. She is currently the principal consultant for assessment systems at the Colorado Department of Education. And she has led the design and implementation of the 2009 Colorado Academic Standards Revision process and led the Colorado Race to the Top program. She's currently leading the development of the performance assessment component of the Colorado Graduation Guidelines menu of assessment options. And what she doesn't say in her bio is she is a dancer and has actually taught dance education as well. So see, multi-talented people here. And then I have Lila Panagidas. Lila provides organizational change consulting and HR advisory services to some of the most admired companies in the world. She's recognized for her deep resolve and unwavering passion to create environments where everyone can contribute and thrive. She uses the power of design thinking and service excellence in order to really help people strengthen their performance and build capacity. She is currently the board president of Rapid Response Housing Solutions, which is an all-volunteer nonprofit focused on preventing homelessness in North County, San Diego. And she was a founding member of the Springfield Area Coalition for Responsibility, Equity, and Dignity. So thank you, Lila. And then last but not least, Veronique Shipley, who was born in Wiesbaden, Germany, and traveled extensively with her family, as she had a father who was in the Air Force, and ultimately found her roots in Houston, Texas, where we are now, and went on to dance professionally for both the Houston Oilers and the Rockets. And she held the title of Miss Black Houston and Miss Southeast Texas, and she continues to work with contestants within the Miss American local pageant system. She has worked in commercial real estate for 11 years and is now taking the leap to start her own real estate business, VJS Holdings. As she says, you dream it, she brings it. So with that, welcome to the panelists. I'm so excited to have y'all here. This is going to be such a great conversation. And welcome to the audience. Again, feel free to use your reactions, ask questions. We're going to have a great conversation here. So here's where I want to start. These ladies are women that I've known at least 20 years. You know, as I said, Tisa, I've known her my whole life. I've known them at least 20 years. And when I knew I was about to turn 50, I knew I wanted to do something big. And these women that I've stayed connected to, we were all going through something. There was something going on. I was starting a business. It was just, there was a lot going on. And I said, you know what? I want you guys to block out September 2018. Just block it out. I don't know where we're going yet, but we're going somewhere. And I'm going to send you the thing. Here's the dates to block it out. All you need to do is just buy your ticket. And then in January, I was able to send them this place called Flower Hill in Montego Bay, Jamaica. And the five of them, I just knew. So the reason I call this one Common Connections is really I was the hub, but I knew Tisa and Angela who knew each other. And then Suzanne had met Tisa when we were living in Cincinnati. And then Veronique had met Tisa when we've done various things. Lila met Suzanne when I was in Cincinnati, right? So it's just one of these combinations where you just learn who people are and you understand how they work. And I just knew it was going to be a fantastic trip. And I said, come as you are. Come as you are. It's going to be all about relaxation. And so I want to start here. And I'm going to start with Suzanne. So Suzanne, tell me, when you thought about this group of people, some of whom you knew and some you did not, because again, we're talking about connections in Women's History Month and women supporting women. What was it about this trip, even though you didn't know them, that made you say, absolutely, I'll be there, other than it being Montego Bay?
Well, like I've told you before, if you ask me to go someplace, I'm going to go. You don't have to ask me twice. I will be there. So I had no reservations at all, because if they're friends of yours, I knew that there would be people that I like. So
I
that
love that.
was my reason. And the house was fabulous. So how
The
bad
house
could
was
it be?
fabulous. The house was fabulous. Yes. Well, and I think, with that whole idea of being able to trust, when you know someone and know someone really well, you also know they're not going to put you in a situation with people that you're not going to be able to relate to or be connected to, right? They're not going to put you in a situation that's dangerous. They're going to do their best to make sure that you are safe as well and create safe spaces. So Lila, I actually want to talk to you about that, because when I talked about these safe spaces and a safe space to be, you said, you know what? I've really been thinking about brave spaces. And we were all very brave. It was the first time I'd had a swimsuit on since I was 14. So tell me a little bit, when you think about creating these safe spaces and brave spaces, especially in the context of women and relationships, what just comes up for you in that?
Well, Laurel, thank you for hosting this, and especially during Women's History Month. And I think there's something about turning 50, especially for women, that is such a milestone, and bringing us all together as women was really important. And we mentioned that on the podcast last week about the Kavanaugh trial during that time.
Mm-hmm.
And I was reading something recently that there really isn't any safe spaces. And you can think of that realistically, metaphorically, and certainly what's going on around the world and in Ukraine and in our hometowns with gun violence. I mean, even driving your car is not safe. So, in terms of brave spaces, and I kind of liked that twist or the reframing of that. Brave spaces means that you can come together with a group of people to really understand and listen to one another, and understand that people come from different backgrounds, different perspectives. I mean, we're a multiracial group here. We have 3 strong Black women and 3 strong white women, and we're tight. And I think the brave space of being together is recognizing that all of us have different perspectives, experiences, different family groupings, and yet we have this common connection, and that is to uplift and empower one another and speak courageously about things, and challenge one another to push ourselves to be more than we think that we are. And I think that's what's critical, is having people who can push from behind and say, no, you're not pushing hard enough.
Yes.
Dig a little deeper, girl.
Yes. That's so cool, because literally that day in Jamaica on my birthday, the 27th of September, when I launched this business, I launched the podcast on that day. And I remember I was sitting in my room. I think we were all in our rooms, because that's what I wanted. I wanted this house, everybody to have their space, right? I remember being in my room and going live for the very first time to launch the business. And I remember telling you guys, you're like, absolutely, you need to do that, and you need to do it now, and we're going to be watching. And it was that whole, but I don't know. And you're like, yeah, no question, no question. Well, and to piggyback on that, Lila talked about that, pushing from behind and really lifting each other up. Veronique, we call her V. So V, one of the things I remember you saying when we talked about the trip was how much it really meant for you, and as a woman and as someone who came into this relationship, how it really helped to propel you into what you're doing now. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Oh gosh, yes. And just listening to the ladies, I'm just reminded of us sitting around the table talking in Jamaica. And even though we had a great view to look at and great rooms and great home, and everyone that assisted us in the home was amazing, I still feel humbled that I was even at the table and got to be around you ladies. I've heard a phrase, and I don't remember who said it, but they said you should always be around people that make you stand on your tippy toes. And that day, that time that we were together, those several days, and we sat around the table and Lila brought the cards to get us to know one another and open up. I just felt automatically safe there, automatically welcome, automatically accepted. And even though, as Lila was saying, we're all so different, we all have such a common denominator that we're just women, and we all want something better for ourselves and are all working. And they say you should never be around people or have friends that are okie dokie friends that just always tell you, okay, to all of your ideas. And they should tell you what's working and what's not working. So I felt like listening to everyone's stories and where they were at that time in their lives, it just encouraged me to just kind of do it afraid, not kind of, just do it afraid. And there were things that I never would have even thought of or thought that I was capable of had it not been for that trip. So I know that things don't happen by mistake.
Right. Oh, I love that. I love that. And we are so different. Like, we're connected, but we're different. And so when I think about kind of the team, and you guys are my village, right? My team, my power team here. Angela, for you, we're probably the two quietest people. So we've got, everybody else is really social butterflies. I mean, really out there. Now, Leela kind of walks the line, right? She can be really quiet, but she's really out there with this nonprofit. Angela and I would just as soon not be bothered most days. So, Angela, when you thought about coming, and you knew Tisa, which is great, but how was it for you getting to know kind of these other women and what that really said to you in terms of continuing to build your village as, a more later in career person?
Yeah, so one of the things that was really nice was that I was able to come into that space and it be okay that I was a listener first and foremost and tried to get my bearings. And everyone seemed to just be okay with that. And, you know, I didn't mention this on the podcast. This may be the right time to mention this, but so, and I don't know if Tisa and Laurel even know this, but when we were in high school, apparently there was a nickname floating around for me, and I was called the Ice Queen, which is
I didn't know that.
No, you didn't know that, yeah. But anyway, and I've been very conscientious of that because it's very negative, right?
Yeah.
And so. And it's like, wow, I don't mean to be that way. I'm just
not if you're Elsa, Angela. If you're Elsa, you can
right?
do incredible things.
Yes, cool. If that was my name now, I'd be like, yeah. But but no, I mean, I was very conscientious of that, and I didn't want to embarrass Laurel, and so. But, coming into that and being able to just be myself, and then listening, and then I was really inspired by the fact that everyone was just themselves, and I was like, I think it's okay to be me. And, it allowed me to enter into conversations when I was comfortable. And so what I really learned from that was, as I've gone, from that time, especially as I'm working, professionally, and even with my social contacts, I always want to make them feel at ease. Now, I still try not to be an ice queen, but I also want to make them feel like that they can come as they are, right? And so that was really special for me to be able to do that. So I want to thank you all for that, by the way.
Yeah. Well, and it was great because Angela's daughter, who's my bonus daughter, love her. Alexis, love you. Actually made these t-shirts for us where we're all goddesses. It was awesome. So it was just a beautiful, beautiful time. And so Tisa, last but not least, I mean, we have literally been together forever. And so I knew that I couldn't do 50 without you, right? I had to do that. And talk about my social butterfly. She, so my dad passed away in 1996. And one of the things, Tisa's an educator. My dad was an educator. And one of the things that he did was he put together these buttons that said, all kids can learn. And so I burst into tears because I hadn't seen those buttons in years, years. And he would have all the teachers wear them. Tisa had saved up these buttons and brought buttons for us when we came to Jamaica. And so, Tisa, I would love to hear from you when you think about the relationship we have, the relationship with Angela, the relationship with these, 5 women that was built just in that one trip beyond me, right? What for you was like the biggest learning that you came away with in terms of building those relationships?
Hey there. It's absolutely wonderful to be here again. So glad you all have joined us. And oh my goodness, I learned so much. I think the biggest thing for me was I wanted to walk away from the experience doing better.
Mm,
I'm kind of like Angela as far as Laurel. Laurel's one of those you just don't want to disappoint her. It's just like, and I mean, all our lives I've probably done things that she just rolls her eyes and goes on, loves me anyway. You know, but I enjoy. I knew, like the ladies have said before, I knew that this group coming together was going to be an awesome, so awesome group. So in my mind, I'm kind of one of those, I want to know selfishly kind of what can I get out of this? And so I
mhm.
looked forward to learning from all of these beautiful women that have ebbed and flowed through Laurel's life. I looked so
Yes.
forward to that. And then I think that the part that stood out to me was how you could see the love in the gifts that you were showered with.
Yes.
Some of the things that people brought and how, and it was just, it just made me just so proud. And
Yeah.
I just thought, yeah, this is Laurel. They know who they are showering today. It's
Yeah. It
absolutely
was
beautiful to see you honored and uplifted. It was.
it was really cool. And so I have to say, these women again went with me to celebrate my 50th, and I don't normally do that. I don't like being the center of attention. That's just not my thing. I really just wanted to get away and wanted to go to this fabulous house and this fabulous place, and I knew we could all use it. But I tell you, the things that came up, and this beautiful heart with 50 reasons why we love Laurel. I mean, it was incredible. But here's the other thing about this women, and I want you guys to think about this who are listening. When you talk about really building a village and building people around, building those support systems around you, and the whole fallacy that women don't support women, that's just a lie. Now, that doesn't mean all women love every other woman, but I'm telling you, you can find your village that really tells you, can lift you up, can see things that you can't see, and can take you to places that you never thought you could go. And when you have those shared values, that's what really makes it stronger. And so part of what we do, and what I try to do every year for my birthday, is to give back in some kind of way. And so when I've planned this trip, I said, hey guys, we're not really going to do much, but there's one thing we are going to do. There's this place called SOS Villages. It's like an orphanage there in Montego Bay. And I said, what I'd like you guys to do is please bring 2 books. Just bring 2 books, and then we're going to go to this place one day, and we're going to deliver these books. My girls showed up with armfuls of books. You hear me? Armfuls of books. And there's one of the pictures that I posted today. If you go to my social, you'll see it. And I mean, I'm just going to cry because it was just, they all believe in education. They believe in supporting. They believe in community. And I knew they did. And so it was like, just no thing. And there were 2 books. Are you kidding me? Why would I just bring 2? And so when you are thinking about building your village and finding ways to lift yourself up and finding ways to lift up others, how does that common connection work for you, especially among women? Because as they say, you support a woman, you educate a woman, you lift up an entire village, right? We know when we educate men, that's great. And we love men. We love men. So this is not a men bashing thing. There is data and proven, statistics out there that when you educate and when you support women, you lift up entire villages. So I encourage all of you to really build that village. You women, build that village. If you're earlier in your career, build that village. So I want to make sure that we get to questions too. So as you guys have questions, please make sure that you're putting those in the chat. So and Jenny, if you're watching, if you see some, just chime right in. Just unmute yourself and chime right in if I'm missing something. So before if I don't see any right now, yeah. So Suzanne, one of the things that we did, because we did have some fun too. We watched the Kavanaugh thing, and that was really difficult for all of us. But one of the things that Suzanne had us do was every time we took a picture, she's like, "You guys just got to fake laugh. Those are the best pictures. Just fake laugh." And those are the best pictures we actually have. So Suzanne, tell us like what that does. I mean, in terms of really bringing that energy.
It does. So that's, I'll tell you, that started a long time ago with me. I was at a party in Cincinnati with some friends, and it was a very boring, very stiff cocktail party. And I was standing with a couple of girls in the corner, and I'm like, what if we just start laughing real loud? Do you think people, it'll like liven things up? Like they don't know what we're laughing about. Let's just laugh about something really loud. And we did. We made this huge laugh, and we started to laugh so much that we cried. And then that kind of led into, these hilarious, fake laugh pictures. But they really are. Only the first picture is a fake laugh. And then after that, it's real. And it's just, it's funny. It is my favorite thing to do. It's kind of become my trademark. That's for sure. So
well, I tell you, we did get some of the best pictures, and it does lead you to like this belly laugh, this absolute belly laugh. The other thing that we did while we were there, and I don't know why we did this, except that we just decided we wanted to. Some of us actually went and looked at some real estate while we were in Jamaica. We're like, let's just go see if we can buy a house in Jamaica. And so I think, Lila, I know you went. Who was it? There were three of us. Me and Lila.
Yeah, I went.
And
Angela? I think Angela came.
Was it Angela?
No, I went.
V.
Oh, okay, V.
A real estate person. Yeah.
Yes, our real estate person actually went to go see real estate in Jamaica. And so as we were looking through these, we were watching, and I was listening to Lila as we were watching. And this is what you mean, or when you have people around you who are really observant. And so as we were walking through these houses and we were listening to people, she said, Laurel, did you hear the agent? Because what he was saying to somebody was, I had told you that I wanted you to, clean this pool. Did you notice that we went back to this house because he didn't feel like he had gotten what he wanted? And that's someone who is observant and pays attention. So Lila, when you think about those relationships that you build, I had someone tell me the other day, you got to watch how people move. That observation piece, how does that play out for you as you're building this village and building those relationships?
Oh gosh, and you say it all the time, Laurel, about people come into your life for a reason, season, or a lifetime. But I do believe in this concept. It's a scientific concept called emergence. Emergence really is just the way that these complex systems, and we are complex people, and patterns arise out of these relatively simple interactions. So anytime a group is together, anytime you're engaging with someone, there is an opportunity for change to happen. So when you're with a group of people, whether it's in a business or friends or out or just talking to someone in a store, that is a space where change can happen at an individual level. And when change happens at an individual level, it can happen at a collective level. And that's how movements happen. That's how progress happens. That's how conflict happens. But I kind of approach every interaction with someone as an opportunity to learn, but also as an opportunity to create change. It's that butterfly effect, right? So coming together, I mean, who knows what happened with going to that orphanage and being able to bring the books and bring resources? What kinds of books did we open or imagination did we open up for children that might have read those books that then led to, hey, I want to pursue this career or I want to pursue this hobby. You never know when you're going to make an impact on someone that could change the trajectory of their life. And I think that's a powerful thing. And that's when we're together as a group, as a collective, that we can enact change.
I love that. That's the power of the village, man. When you surround yourself with people and like-minded, like-hearted people, right? When you surround yourself like that, it just makes such a big difference. And V, you and I mean, because we're here in Houston together, which is really nice. So we get a chance to hang out. And I know one of the things that you also told me a lot is, Laurel, it is really important also for you to say to yourself what you're saying to everybody else,
Mm-hmm.
which has been something that is a mirror. So I call V my mirror a lot. And so when you think about that and think about people in your village, because we were talking about somebody else the other day who's like, okay, do you want me to tell you, or do you want me to tell you what you want to hear?
Mm-hmm.
What is it for you when you think about being observant, like Lila was saying, and connecting with people in community? What is it about that mirroring effect, right? That truth versus just support that makes a difference for you?
Oh gosh, that's a good question. I think just expounding on what you just said, Laurel, that when it comes to friends asking, do you want my truth hat or do you want my friend hat? Sometimes you just need someone to put on the friend hat and just tell you what you want to hear and put a disco ball over your head and make you think that you're right and they're at your party. And then
Yes.
sometimes you need someone to put on their truth cap and tell you what you don't want to hear. And I see you as reflective for me as well and being my mirror, because you tell me the stuff that I don't want to hear, but I'm so grateful that I heard, and so that's something that's critical. And I don't think you should in any situation surround yourself with people that only agree with you. And the only way you're going to grow is if you're around people that love you, support you, that will disagree with you. And so, or tell you why your thinking might be skewed, or give you another option of thinking, maybe not tell you what to do. And that's something I can say about you, Laurel. You never tell me what you would do if you were in my situation or what I should do. You always empower me to think for myself, but you make sure that you give me both sides, not you give me the black, white, and the gray. So you give me all the options, and then I feel equipped and empowered to make my own decision. So I think that's really, really, really important and a good place to start. And what you said in the very beginning about you have to be careful in your village. You're so good. I was sitting here reading the book that Tisa gave us. She gave us these journals in Jamaica. And I was just reading the first page that she wrote us all a very personal message. And she said, thank you for the, that part, that. But anyway, so she says,
we're broadcasting to the world.
Yes. she said, you have so much value and love. And so I think that word is powerful. I love the word value. I just think we as women often don't understand and fully know our value and our worth, and that we're fearfully and wonderfully made, so to speak. And so I think, when we're so quick in a group to lift up someone else and encourage someone else. And it's just really important to also say those same words, because there's a book that I read, I think I shared before in the podcast, called Hung by the Tongue, that I recommend to anyone. And the words that you speak over yourself are just and equally weighted as the words you speak over others. And it's reciprocal.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's something
absolutely. The words have power.
Yes,
words have power. And it's not unkind to be clear with others and with yourself. That's really important. It's really important. So we are going to, and I've got so much more I want to say to these ladies. And you can listen to the podcast. If you go to laurelrutledge.com/podcast, you can hear the pre-recorded podcast that we did with them and get so much more and see the show notes and get all their bios and everything as well. But I really want to give you guys an opportunity to ask questions. You've got some amazing women here on this panel. And so if you've got a question or even just a comment, I would love for you to just jump on the stage. I think I see a 4 here. Let me see if there was somebody who was looking for something. And so I would love to hear you guys' comments. What is it for you that you see or need or bring to this village that you put together? Because we all have them. Some people call it a tribe, right? Some people call it a posse. For me, it's village. And so what is it that comes up for you when you think about those things? And I see Laura Lee. I see some really cool people here. And hey Mom. And Dave and Woody and Anita and Mama Young. I would love to hear your feedback or your thoughts on building your village.
While they're thinking, I have a question, Laurel.
Yes.
So I was really identifying with your village members who were saying, it's so easy to say yes to Laurel. I get that. I have been the same way. But what if you don't have a Laurel in your village? What if you're not the Laurel? How do you advise people to like step into that space and be the brave one who says, okay, we're going to do this, even if it might feel a little uncomfortable at first?
Ooh, you know what? Suzanne, I want you to answer that because I would not have known Suzanne if Suzanne hadn't said, look, we're going to this thing at church and you're coming. We're going to go have a hot dog. So Suzanne, the queen of just make it happen.
Well, I think it's so funny that you say that because I was just with a friend recently who had been in a Bible study about friendship. And she said that a lot of the people that she was in this study with were saying that they really struggled with having friends. Their husbands were their friends, or, their sister might be a really close friend, but, just other women, it was really hard for them. And she was surprised by that. And I'm not, because I think the older we get, we kind of feel like we're not as open to it, I think. And so, I don't know, I find that I get a feeling about people when I meet them casually. And when I find somebody that I've I hate to use this term, but somebody that I kind of vibe with and like,
right.
There's something about them that's kind of, I'm feeling, I really do make an effort. I mean, the worst thing somebody can say is, no, I don't want to go grab coffee, or I don't want to have a play date with you and your kid. I mean, it happens, and that's not the person, but I think if you just make the simple ask and see how they react, then you don't have anything to lose, really.
That's so good. That's so good. We have not, because we asked, and I just talked about that last week, right? Ask the question. Ask somebody to go get a hot dog at the church social.
You were a tough customer because I had to ask you a lot to do so. And I faced a lot of rejection with you, my friend.
Introvert, right? I just want to go home. Lila?
I just wanted to add just this quote because I have a Pinterest quote. Every day I put a quote on. Today's quote was, don't wish for it, work for it. And, you can sit back and wish for things, but if you're not out there, you've got to get yourself out there and work for it. I mean, nothing comes easy. And if you're not willing to be uncomfortable, there's no growth, whether it's exercising or anything else. You've got to be willing to be uncomfortable. And I think that if you can just get past that, then you can take action.
But can I also say, though, I also think it's equally important if somebody, is not your person, or you don't feel like they're reciprocating, or, just putting in the effort that you are, I think it's okay to drop people too. Exactly. Take a little inventory and don't waste your precious time and energy on somebody that does not want to support you or be part of your life. So
completely
absolutely
agree.
Reason, season, lifetime. We're not obligated, and it kind of gets to one of the things that Veronique said is, I've been coaching all of my clients. I'm like, I really want us to manage our words, and we always say, I want to be paid what I'm worth. I want to be paid what I'm worth. This is what I'm worth. I'm like, no, you don't want to be paid what you're worth, because no one can pay you what you're worth. What you want to be is you want to be compensated for the value of your experience and your expertise. That's different, because we are worthy because we exist. We are worthy because we exist. My friend Holly says, you don't have to be perfect to be precious, right? So it's really important when you're building that village to really have that mirror, to have these women like I have here who lift you up and say, here's 50 reasons why we love you, right? Here's what you do, and here's what you do for us, and that you can pick up the phone and they're going to tell you the truth. I also, and please guys, ask your questions, jump in. Would love to have some additional comments. I mean, it doesn't have to be a question. It may just be a comment about these amazing women. So, and ladies, you can just unmute your mics if you want to. So what for you, and Ange, I think for you too, because we're the ones that aren't necessarily going to go out and seek people out, which has been very interesting as I start my business. Because, that whole idea of letting people in and reason, season, lifetime, and showing up. I know you talked earlier about, you just kind of make it happen, but what is like a trick that you've been able to develop to be able to connect?
I ask a lot of questions. So
Me
as an
too.
introvert, the thing is that you don't want to be put on the stage. So what you do is you start everything by asking them a lot of questions, and then you make connections back to them if it's authentic, of course. You don't want to,
Yes.
unless it's work, and then sometimes you
Right.
have what you got to do. But yeah, when you're trying to connect with people, I just ask a lot of questions, and not because it's fully a trick, but I truly am interested because
Yeah.
I want to find a way that I can, relate and carry a
Yes.
conversation through. But that's my main trick, is just to begin by asking questions, and
Yes.
it helps me a little bit to exist in, what do we call ourselves, Laurel? Functional introverts. And
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
it's
That book
able
Quiet, guys, for all of my introverts out there, that book Quiet is fantastic. Now, it's like reading a dissertation, but it is fantastic. If you are fairly introverted, I highly suggest the book Quiet. It's fantastic. Yeah, and I love that, Angela, because that curiosity, and it does have to be authentic, but asking those questions, I call my shows the perspective for a reason. One of the ways, even if you don't really care what somebody else thinks, be curious enough and be focused enough on your perspective that if you get theirs, if you don't really want to know, at least you get information to make your argument stronger.
Yeah.
So if you don't really care about them, at least pretend you do, because then you can do what you want to do better. Right.
Right.
So that whole idea of curiosity and showing interest in other people really does make a difference. I still have to force myself to do that a lot of time. And you would think, as an HR person, there's this fallacy that all HR people are people. That is just not true. That is not true, because I'm not a people person. I enjoy people, but I don't just love people, right? I enjoy engaging and connecting. So, ladies, um, when you think about kind of this next chapter, so we are now in this, and I can't remember who said it, something happens at 50, like a switch just flips, and there's not much that stays on your give a damn list after 50, just not much. And it's really easy to boot stuff off, which is just a beautiful place to be. And how for you, when you think about that switch that flipped, what was it for you that you were just like, all of a sudden, yeah, you know what? I think I'm really okay with me at this moment. Like, how did you know? How did that manifest for you? Maybe Tisa.
Oh, let me be careful. Okay.
Or not.
Or not. Well, I mean, I think there's something about, I think about relationships. I'm a single person, and I have thought about the fact that I've lived long enough now to where, I think I'm good. I think I'm good. But you never know, what the Lord may have in store. But as I've gotten older and I have lived the life so far that I have, and realized that, I can manage, I can take
Mm-hmm.
care of myself. There was something that flipped with that you're good. You can
Yeah.
you can take care of yourself. You can manage this life. You can do what you need to do. And I have a this group, this, that, like you say, village of people that if I have a question or I need something, I'm like, Angela, I don't have a problem asking questions. I think earlier in life, I mean, I always ask questions. I guess I really shouldn't say that, because I've always asked questions. I've always been curious. But as I've gotten older, it's been like, if I need something, and I need something to make my life better, or I need something to help a friend's life be better, but I don't have the answer, what can I do? Okay, let me ask the questions. Let me do that. So just a little bit more boldness, maybe. I don't know. But I just feel more empowered as I've gotten older. I don't know. That's all
I
I can
like that.
put
I
that.
like that. Makes a lot of sense. Can y'all still hear me? Look like my thing
I
muted
was
funny.
wondering, yeah,
Yes.
Yeah,
Perfect.
you
Okay.
came off
you.
a video.
Oh, I did.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then that means I just can see more of y'all. So I won't go back and put myself on video. So as we're coming here to the end, kind of 45 minutes, one, you guys again, everybody who joined in, everybody who listened, who met these incredible women that are in my village, these 5. What I want to do to end, because I see comments and lots of hand clapping. Thank you guys for being here, participating. It really does make a difference. We end, what I want is for each to give you like one piece of advice, whether it's career advice, leadership advice, life advice. What is one key thing you want everybody on this call to know about navigating and making those connections in your tribe?
Oh, goodness. Okay. Well, when you were you asked about one thing to pass on. I think as I get older, well, first of all, I go to bed a lot earlier on Friday night. Yes. Sleep is much more important than staying up.
Yes.
But I think my happiness or my sense of joy doesn't depend on external things, doesn't depend on people. It depends on my inner self and my inner talk, how I'm thinking about things. And I think I see that in other people too, as they mature, that it becomes more internal than the external things. And I think if you can really focus on that, then you'll be just a lot more joyous for the rest of your life.
Yeah. Love that. I love that. And
so one parting statement, is that what we're doing here? Okay. Well,
yeah.
I'm just really reflecting on everything.
I just love that. Yes.
So first of all, as the conversation was happening about, as you get older and turning 50, and just quickly, I knew that I had kind of mastered adulting when my, now young adult daughter she said to me one day, she goes, "God, Mom, you're just so good at this." And I'm like, yeah, when did that happen? Honestly, when did that happen? And it's this collection of experiences. And, so I always come back to the advice I give, or the thing I like to think about is, trust yourself. If you make a mistake, it's likely not going to be the end of the world. But trust your decision-making process. And if you do make mistakes, learn from them and move forward. Don't be afraid to do things. God, I spent so much of my life being afraid to do something different that really held me back. And so, I always want to say to especially younger people, trust yourself and go with because your gut is usually right.
Oh, I love that. Love that. And that's a hard one. And because of that, I'm going to tell you a mantra at the end. Sue? Did we lose you, Susan?
Oh, I'm here.
Oh, there you are. Okay.
Your mantra. No,
right.
I was, mine is just be authentic, be your authentic self, and be willing to be vulnerable. I've been laughing at myself. I keep saying that I'm so awkward coming out of the pandemic. I don't know how to have a conversation with people in the real world. And I talk about really weird things. And my friends were making fun of me because I kept talking about Dollywood, which is Dolly Parton's amusement park in Tennessee. And I was like laughing because I'm like, every time I go out and talk to somebody, somehow I weave that into a conversation, and it's so weird. And I don't know why I'm doing it, and but at the time I'm like, I'm obsessed with Dollywood and I want to talk about it. So I just say, and I haven't lost any friends as a result. So, I just say, be your authentic self and be vulnerable and be willing to talk about your weird, things.
Because we've all got them.
If they're important to you, the right people will appreciate you for it.
Exactly. So, I agree.
And there I just did it again.
Gotta love Dolly. I love Dolly. That's all.
Well, don't we all? Right, exactly.
Yes.
She brings people together. So anyway.
V, you. Parting advice.
Let's just say Dolly is my spirit animal. I'm obsessed with her.
See, this is why we like each other.
Yes, who does love? And that's the one thing I love the most. As I'm listening to everybody, it just makes me miss you ladies so much more. I just love everyone's personalities. I just love it.
Jamaica 2023.
Yes, and I was the lucky winner to get to sit next to her for all of our dinners and lunches and breakfasts in Jamaica. And I have to say, even though you consider yourself an introvert, you are an exceptional listener. You are exceptional. It's not you're just quiet and introverted. You are intentionally and intentfully listening, and it's a beautiful quality. So what I would say is, expounding on what the ladies have already said, forgive yourself. I think we often carry so much that other people have forgiven us, but it's really important to forgive yourself for any quote unquote mistakes. You don't, what is it saying? You don't know sun unless you've known rain, and you don't know joy unless you've known pain. So we have to go through things. And the last thing I would say is just that I think we were all given one mind, one heart, and one mouth for a reason, and just to use them resourcefully and wisely.
Yeah.
I've learned.
Oh, I love that. I love that. And Tisa?
Hey there. Okay. V kind of took mine because mine was like, I mean, I just keep thinking about grace.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
you have to give yourself grace.
Yeah.
And because there are times, and I don't know, as women, as we evolve and grow, and things will happen, and we're thinking to ourselves, why did I do that? Or I wish I hadn't done that, or why didn't I start that sooner? And I'm just now getting to do that. And it's just like there's a reason why all of that happens when it happens. So you just
Yes.
have to pause, as long as try to get the pause, give yourself some grace, because
Yes.
I feel like we are all where we're supposed to be at the time we're supposed to be there. And we don't always understand that. So that comes with maturity, that comes with experience, that comes with life. But if along the way, while you're learning these lessons, if you can just stop and give yourself grace and not be
Yeah.
so hard on yourself, you will, you will get where you need to be at the time you're supposed to be there.
I love it. I love it. You guys, and now see why these women are my Fierce Five. I just so fortunate to have my wife that you met last week, these Fierce Five, two other amazing groups of women for women's, and then we'll do a mashup at the end. And so as we close tonight, I want to give you guys that I have for myself. And this is one of the I worked with that I got for my and I work with my therapist, and I'm very transparent about that. I mean, I love my therapist for years, and it is a beautiful thing. The mantra is this: trust yourself. In this moment, you are enough. In this moment, you have all you need. And with that, to say thank you. Thank you for being a part of the live conversations on the perspective on the Fireside app. Thank you for choosing to spend time tonight with me, because I absolutely have a choice. Thank you to my five. You guys, there are not words enough. Just so blessed to have all of you in my life, and continue to push me as well as and so thank you all for being here. Thank you, Jenny, producer extraordinaire on the Fireside app. You who are listening just on desktop, thank you here. And there will be a replay coming out, so be sure to join the Fireside app. Follow me and get alerts. The show is going to be every Thursday at 7 p.m. And we'll talk to some amazing women, and I've that's happening starting in April as well. So getting all underway. You can listen to the podcast at com/podcast or on your favorite podcast app. You can also catch the radio show live every Tuesday, 10 a.m. So ways for us to connect and to stay connected and to continue to lift each other up. Have a fantastic evening. Thank you for being here. Ladies, thank you. And we will catch you next week, 7 p.m. Central, the live conversations on Fireside. Take care. Bye, everybody.